From the Mapleview Animal Hospital studios, this is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens and Peg McNichol on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
Welcome back to the WHTC Morning News for this Friday, September 11th. I'm Gary Stevens. You just heard from Peg McNichol, and Friday mornings, our final segment, we talk about travel, tourism, events going on within a tank full of gas from the lakeshore. It's our Travel Michigan segment, and Dave Lorenz of Pure Michigan joins us, as he does most Friday mornings, this time via the Zoom connection. Dave, good morning, and welcome back to WHTC.
Good morning. Good to be with you. And yes, those big events still aren't happening, but the fact is we can still get out there. We can travel safely. We can take that Pure Michigan pledge and do all the things we need to do to keep each other safe, but still get out there and enjoy. And I'll tell you, I think it was amazing. It seemed like it was midnight on Labor Day. It went from like the 70s to like the 50s. It's like, okay, summer's over with, so let's start enjoying fall. It was bizarre. But just by chance, I had talked to the folks from the Michigan Apple Committee earlier this week, and they reminded me that here are some facts. We have 14.9 million apple trees in Michigan, roundabouts, at 775 farms. That's how big the apple crop is in Michigan. That's just for apples. We're the third biggest producer in the country. And apples are huge for us. It's the biggest cash crop in Michigan for agriculture. So we should get out there.
Even more than our friends over in Traverse City with the cherries?
Yeah, more than cherries, more than blueberries, more than peaches, more than strawberries and asparagus and all those potatoes. And I mean, it goes on and on and on. We are the second most agriculturally diverse state in the country. And the only reason we're not more agriculturally diverse is that we don't go practically from the south part of the country to the north like California does. So they just have that greater, variation of growing potential. And there's not a lot of produce grown in the Upper Peninsula, although we are starting to get some wineries up there. Pretty cool. That hardy, I think they call it a Marquette grape. That's grown in the UP. And so we're starting to see some wineries and tasting rooms and things. Most of the farm production in the UP is to do with cattle and ranches and milk production, things like that.
We're talking with Dave Lorenz of Pure Michigan, and indeed the apple cider and the cider farm, certainly we're all looking forward to that. I would be negligent. We're talking today on September 11th. And the travel and tourism industry had not taken a hit since then until the COVID-19 situation. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say, can we draw some parallels between what we saw in the days and weeks and to a certain extent months after 9/11 and what we're going through right now?
Yeah, definitely. I guess the only thing that really we don't show a lot of parallel with, and that's because it is a political year, is the fact that after 9/11, we really came together as a country like we hadn't probably in maybe our lifetime, at least, to the point that we could recognize that. And I just haven't seen that with the COVID thing. There's so much politics involved. So many people have all these conspiracy theories, and some people won't even wear a mask because they think it's some political statement. And you know what? I'm not even going to second guess whether that's accurate or not, really, because politics is too involved in everything today. Unlike 9/11, think about that. The country was hit with this huge catastrophe. And I remember driving for weeks thinking, oh, no, you first. No, you first. We were polite even without even talking to somebody, just seeing people in cars. So I'm really hoping that on this 6-month anniversary of the day that the World Health Organization declared this is a pandemic, a world pandemic, that's today. Just ironic, isn't it? That on the anniversary of 9/11 as we know it, 9/11 to much of the world is going to be the 6-month anniversary of 3/11, the day that the pandemic was named. I'm hoping that we try to come together and do all the things we can to be polite and considerate and thoughtful. If not now, when? So I'm hoping we can.
Besides that, though, I'm talking more like, and as a tourism
Oh,
industry
sure.
expert, things the industry learned perhaps from 9/11 could possibly be used here, even though it's a little bit more of a different scenario.
Yeah, and the thing with 9/11, it did hit our country economically, all around the country. Of course, the big hits were in DC, New York, and Pennsylvania, and all that trauma. But to the economy, we were hit badly as well. and actually, sorry about the coughing, asthma. And that's part of this whole thing about being considerate, because too many of us are kind of talking down the economy, and I think unrealistically and needlessly talking down the benefits of travel as well. Because yes, we need to be careful, but we shouldn't have all this hyperbole out there, where some people are still saying, stay in your basement, stay in your house, don't go anywhere. Well, the fact is, you can travel safely if you do the right thing. The thing is, you have to go to the store, right? And you're doing that safely. You can do these other things that are good for your heart, body, and soul, if you just get out there and take it safely. I'll tell you this, our jobs are starting to come back, just like after 9/11 they started. But we have a long way to go. Michigan has been doing better than many states in the country, but here we are now that our slow season has started. A lot of those people who went back to work in the summer are now going to go through their seasonal layoffs. Really sorry about the coughing. And so that's what happens every year, but especially this year. There are a lot of our restaurants and retailers and other shops that just squeaked by this summer. And now they get to this point, it's going to be very difficult for them to survive. So please do what you can to get out and use restaurants and, order for them, buy gift cards, do things like that to help them to help them get through this thing. Now, there's the parallel of 9/11. If we do that, that does show the case that maybe we can be thoughtful of others and think of our community to a greater degree.
One final thing, Dave Lorenz, I'll talk a shop question more for you than anything else. What will be the thrust of Pure Michigan's campaign over the next, during the fall season, because we're almost to fall on the calendar, and what will be the thrust between, say, now and, say, the holidays and trying to get people to come to Michigan?
We planned well out for all the seasons. We had this beautiful campaign we were ready to launch if we had been funded. It was beautiful. The fact is, we'll use it next year if we get funded. Our fiscal year starts October 1. So I'm praying that the governor and the legislature will come together and be able to provide some funding for Pure Michigan. As you've seen this year, Pure Michigan, the staff at Pure Michigan, the 10 of us in Lansing, we're funded through a different source. Our salaries and such. And we keep on working and we keep on doing all we can, social media, public relations, and the various things that we can do without spending a lot of money from the promotion fund. But the fact is, COVID kind of allowed us to get by to some degree because nobody was really traveling from state to state or country to country. As we get through COVID, it will be really important that we have funding so that we can compete against the messaging that's going to come out from other states, other countries, because we need to encourage people to travel from other places here and to encourage people to travel in the States. So this fall, you're not going to see much from us, except the fact that you hear us on, shows like this. And I really appreciate the time you give us in the other media that help us along the way. If we are funded October 1, I bet we will not be funded to the degree that we really would hope to be. So even then, I doubt you're going to see paid advertising for fall, very little for winter, and we'll focus mostly on our key time of the year in spring, summer.
We'll see what happens as the lawmakers go back to work in Lansing this coming week. Dave Lorenz of Pure Michigan, our Travel Michigan segment on the WHTC Morning News. Dave, as always, thank you very much for spending some time with us and sharing your thoughts. And if all goes well, let's do this again next Friday morning.
Thanks, Gary. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. That is Dave Lorenz of Pure Michigan on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.